have been down the hallowed horror halls of Shudder television, as I usually am, and I looked at a little movie called They Look Like People. I had seen this movie, it's been on Shudder a while, but I had not really been drawn to it. However, it's a psychological horror movie that I now wanted to see because Mike Flanagan has been touting it as a masterclass in low budget filmmaking.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
He hosted, I have not got my information on this, but he hosted some kind of indie film fest or like low budget film fest. And this was one of his top choices.
Okay.
So I had read it in some article that I saw on social media, I'm sure. It is written and directed by Perry Blackshear. It's his first feature-length film, so I really don't know anything else, obviously, that he's been involved with. It also includes some people in the cast that I have never seen before. McLeod Andrews, Evan Dumochel, if I'm pronouncing that right, both of which, not so coincidentally, who had small parts in Dr. Sleep.
Excellent.
So Flanagan's lifting people from this movie, and a woman named Margaret Ying Drake, who is also really good. The synopsis is: suspecting that people around him are turning into evil creatures, a troubled man questions whether to protect his only friend from an impending war or from himself.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a great film. It is largely a character study on schizophrenia.
Okay.
And of course, there's a mystery element to it as well. Is he crazy or is this really happening? He believes the people around him to be things other than what they tell him they are. This disease, of course, includes hallucinations and distortions of reality, which make for good filmmaking and some challenging filmmaking when you're using a low budget, which is probably why Mike Flanagan paid attention to some of the stuff done. It's masterfully directed, and it scores 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. And of course, it's on Shudder.
Of course. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. It's almost like a literary question. So
sure.
Again, it's similar to mine with the Philip K. Dick thing where their reality starts changing and what they perceive as wrong or not or whatever. Is that, in literary terms, is that what you call an unreliable narrator? Where they are uncertain as well. So our hero, we don't know if what our hero is thinking or believing or whatever is actually true or not.
It can be used to that effect. Absolutely. Okay. An unreliable narrator doesn't necessarily have to be first person, though. It can also be third person.
Right. It's the narrative that you are being told, you end up finding out you can't really trust because it's from a different perception or whatever. That's what that
exactly
means, right?
And in this case, that's how a lot of it's done. You're seeing things from his perception, but you're also seeing it from others. And you're like, is this really happening? Because sometimes he plays tricks on you and it looks like it could really be happening.
So is it scary? Or is it more psychological kind of interest?
It is definitely more psychological than scary. The scare comes from the fact that is he going to kill somebody because he thinks they're not what they are?
Okay.
Like his friend, his best friend, all of a sudden, they're together and he's like, do I tell him what's going on? And the voices are telling him, no, you cannot, because, he won't understand. He will not understand. Then eventually they start telling you he will not understand because he is one of them. And then you're like, oh, fuck, man, he's going to kill this guy. And you're starting to see it from an average Joe perspective where, oh, this guy's just crazy, Okay. So that's where the fear lies. That's where the terror, the scares come in. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. I think you would like it.